Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya 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 Gurudev. Om Vishnupada Paramahansakaracharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad Abhay Charanarvindo Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to Samul devotees. All glories to Samul devotees. All glories to Samul devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So welcome to the morning Bhagavatam class. So today we are reciting the verse from Canto 3, chapter 33, the name Activities of Kapila, and the text 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 8 from Canto 3 and chapter 33. Please repeat with me. Tam tvam aham brahma param pumamsam. Pratyakshotasi atmani samvibhavyam. Pratyakshotasi atmani samvibhavyam. Swatejasa dvasta guna pravaham. Swatejasa dvasta guna pravaham. Vande Vishnum Kapilam Vedagarbham. Tam tvam aham brahma param pumamsam. Pratyakshotasi atmani samvibhavyam. Swatejasa dvasta guna pravaham. Vande Vishnum Kapilam Vedagarbham. Tam tvam aham brahma param pumamsam. Pratyakshotasi atmani samvibhavyam. Swatejasa dvasta guna pravaham. Vande Vishnum Kapilam Vedagarbham. Prabhuji. Tam tvam aham brahma param pumamsam. Pratyakshotasi atmani samvibhavyam. Swatejasa dvasta guna pravaham. Vande Vishnum Kapilam Vedagarbham. Tam tvam aham brahma param pumamsam. Pratyakshotasi atmani samvibhavyam. Swatejasa dvasta guna pravaham. वन्दे विष्णुं कपिलं वेदगर्भम् त्वं त्वम् अहं ब्रह्म परं पुमांसम् प्रत्यक्षो तस्य आत्मनि संविभाव्यम् स्वातेजसा द्वष्टगुणप्रवाहम् वन्दे विष्णुं कपिलं वेदगर्भम्। माताजी तं त्वम् अहं ब्रह्म परं पुमांसम् प्रत्यक्षो तस्य आत्मनि संविभाव्यम् स्वातेजसा द्वष्टगुणप्रवाहम् वन्दे विष्णुं कपिलं वेदगर्भम्। Word to word meaning: tam, unto him; tvam, you; aham, I; brahma, brahman; param, supreme; pumansam, the supreme personality of Godhead; pratyakshotasi, turned inwards; Atmani, in the mind; Samvibhavyam, meditated upon, perceived; Swatejas, by your own potency; Dvasta, vanished; Gunapravaham, the influence of modes of material nature. One day, I offer obeisances, Vishnu, unto Lord Vishnu, Kapilam, named Kapila, Vedagarbham, the repository of the Vedas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please repeat with me. I believe, my Lord, that you are Lord Vishnu himself, under the name of Kapila, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Brahman. The saints and sages, being freed from all the disturbances of the senses and mind, meditated upon you. For by your mercy, only one can become free from the clutches of the three modes of material nature. At the time of dissolution, all the Vedas are sustained in you only. Purport. Devahuti, the mother of Kapila, instead of prolonging her prayers, summarized that Lord Kapila was none other than Vishnu, and that since she was a woman, it was not possible for her to worship him properly simply by prayer. It was her intention that the Lord be satisfied. The word pratyak is significant. In yogic practice, the 8 divisions are yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Pratyahara means to wind up the activities of the senses. The level of realization of the Supreme Lord evidenced by Devahuti is possible when one is able to withdraw the senses from material activities. When one is engaged in devotional service, there is no scope for his sense to be engaged otherwise. In such full Krishna consciousness, one can understand the Supreme Lord as he is. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। So welcome to the morning Bhagavatam class once again. So we are reciting the verse from Canto 3, chapter 33 and the text number 8. So we have reached the final chapter of this canto. In the final chapter, it is almost the final episode of the conversation between Kardama Muni, Lord Kapila and Devahuti. So in the beginning of this chapter, so Maitreya Muni was saying till 32, chapter 32, right? I think from chapter 25th to 32, Kapila Muni was giving the instructions. He is giving the knowledge, transcendental knowledge to Devahuti. In all these chapters, she was asking questions and Kapila Muni was responding with all the transcendental knowledge. Almost from the first started, the conversation started in chapter 25. And in chapter 32, he gave almost the final instruction, not final, but the most of completely, he gave the transcendental knowledge. That's why in the first verse of this chapter, Maitreya Muni was saying that the Devahuti, all her ignorance was removed, all the transcendental knowledge was given by Kapila Muni, and then she started offering prayers. And if you see the last few verses in her Devahuti's prayers, she was glorifying the chanting of the holy name. So she gave various information about the glories of the chanting. So the few important points which we can recollect before moving on to the today's verse is when you chant the holy name, it will be like those who chant the holy name of the Lord, they call Aryans. Aryan means who know the purpose of life, what is the ultimate aim of life and what we have to do. Those are the Aryans. Like if you want to understand this word, what is exactly Aryan means, when we see in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, in Krishna mentioned Kutastam Kashmalam Idam Vishame Samupasitam Anaryam Jushtam Aswargam Akirtikaram Arjuna. So the third line, Anaryan. The Anarya, in the meaning, the Krishna was saying, this verse was spoken by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita battlefield of Kurukshetra as part of Bhagavad Gita. What was the reason why he's in Krishna? Arjuna was, because Arjuna and Pandavas and Kauravas, they prepared for the battle. But once he entered into the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna said, no, I can't fight. By seeing all the relatives, friends and guru, teacher, he said, no, I can't fight. Then he gave various reasons, which are like, he is my guru, he is my grandfather, they are my brothers. So on the bodily platform, he is establishing the connection with those guys, and he's saying, if by killing those people, I cannot enjoy the kingdom. If I get the kingdom after killing those my relatives, friends, guru, I cannot enjoy. So all these reasons, there are various other reasons also we can see in the chapter 1, it was mentioned. Right? And then Krishna was saying that why these impurities have come to you. These are not the qualities of Aryans. Anarya means those who do not know the purpose of life. Anarya. The exactly opposite is Arya. So Aryan means Anarya, those who do not know the purpose of life. But in this case, how we can understand? Arjuna was thinking on the bodily platform. Through bodily connection, he is my brother, he is my grandfather, he is my guru. All these things he is establishing based on bodily platform. That is called Anarya. Whereas Arya means those who know the purpose of life, what we have to do in the life. So in Bhagavatam's case, Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Adokshaja. Bhakti to Adokshaja. Adokshaja means Krishna. Bhakti Vishnu is the ultimate Dharma. So the Aryans are those who know that Bhakti is the ultimate aim of our life. That is Arya. So those who chant the holy name of the Lord, they are Aryans. Means they know the purpose of life. They know what to do in the life. That is the reason they are chanting the holy name. So, and the next one is the intelligence. Those people who chant the holy name, Devahuti is then saying they are intelligent. These are the prayers offered by Devahuti. She is glorifying the chanting of the holy name. And the next one is she mentioned intelligence. People are those who chant the holy name. They are very intelligent. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto 5th chapter it is Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangas Pashvada Yajnai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantisi Sumedasa. Yajna Sankirtan, those who perform Sankirtan Yajna, Sumedasa, they are very, very intelligent. Even what Devahuti is saying the same thing in Bhagavatam also, it is elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned same. So these are the qualities, like first one, they are Aryans, those who chant the people, they are intelligent, and then the third one, they have performed all the sacrifices. If you chant the holy name, whatever sacrifices specified in the Vedas, it means when you just by chanting the holy name, you are performing all those sacrifices. This is the glory of the holy name, chanting the holy name. So this is what all the prayers she offered. These were the prayers glorifying the chanting the holy name Devahuti offered after listening all the transcendental knowledge provided by Lord Kapila. Now, if you see then today's translation, it was mentioned, I believe, my Lord, you are the Lord Vishnu himself and the name of under the name of Kapila, and you are the supreme personality of Godhead and supreme Brahman. So before we discussing these points, does anyone, just we need to revisit in the chapter 25th of this canto, Devahuti was asking some questions. She is expressing some of her inabilities and questions, and then Kapila Muni started speaking. Does anyone remember some of the key questions, the inabilities she expressed before in the 25th chapter, before Kapila Muni was speaking? Does anyone remember what was she was expressing? Yes. So, yes, she was mentioning that I am very sick of disturbing my sense. I am very sick of the disturbance caused by material senses. For because of this sense disturbance, my Lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance. So she was saying in the beginning of this conversation to Kapila Muni, so I am sick of the disturbance caused by these material senses. So the material senses are dragging her towards all the material objects. So material things in the material world. And then she was saying that because of this material, she was unable to control the senses. Because of that, she was fed up with these senses. And in the subsequent verses she mentioned, I have taken the shelter of your lotus feet because you are the only one person of whom to take the shelter. You are the axe which can cut the tree of material existence. So now she is unable to control her senses, and then she is taking the shelter of lotus feet of Kapila Muni. And in this one, and then she is asking him to give the transcendental knowledge so that I can come out of this ignorance. And one more question also she has asked, because this information is relevant to today's verse. That's why I am recollecting these questions. And in text 30th of chapter 25th, she mentioned, my dear son Kapila, after all, I am a woman. It is very difficult for me to understand the absolute truth because my intelligence is not very great. But if you will kindly explain it to me, even though I am not very intelligent, I can understand it and thereby feel transcendental happiness. Then she is saying that, please explain me about the absolute truth in Tattva, the full knowledge about the absolute truth. Now, that is what she was asking in the chapter 25th, before Kapila Muni was speaking this transcendental knowledge. Now, in today's verse, if you see, Devahuti, she is offering prayers, and in the prayers, what is she mentioning? Oh my Lord, you are Vishnu, and you are Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are Brahman. So, if you see that you are Supreme Personality of God. Means she clearly understood that Lord Kapila is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna and who is Bhagavan. We all know from the. And next one, you are Vishnu. And she is saying that you are Vishnu. And we all know that Vishnu as a Paramatma living in our heart. And then she is saying Brahman. You are also Brahman. So Lord Kapila is a Vishnu, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and is Brahma. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, we know Yadant Vadantitas Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yajnanam Avyayam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan Iti Sajjati. Right? So any transcendental person can understand the absolute truth in three levels. What is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan? This is what, and if you remember one of the questions she was asking to Kapila Muni to explain the absolute truth. Now, even if in our prayers we can see that she is referring to Bhagavan, she is referring to Vishnu, and she is referring to Paramatma, Brahman. So that means she was able to understand, after understanding this transcendental knowledge provided by Kapila Muni, she was able to understand, after listening the Kapila Muni instructions, she was able to understand what is absolute truth, and the absolute truth is none other than the Kapila Muni who is sitting in front of her. So, like this is what, and these are all coming in part of prayers. Here we need to little bit briefly understand the importance of prayers. When the great devotees offer prayers, it's not just something they are referring from other scriptures and offering. It's not that. It is their feelings they are, through their feelings they are speaking out. And it is coming from their heart. And in fact, they are realized it. They realize it, that is the ultimate truth. That is the proper, final, that is their ultimate shelter. They feel that, when they realize, these things will be coming out. So, the realization, when we talk about the realization is not just for a senior devotees too, right? It is, realization can be obtained at any level, but each person can have a different level of realization. If everybody can have a realization about the God, about the devotion, but it can be at different levels. If you see we try to understand what is realization in the layman's term, like simple terms. Like people generally, the topmost devotees realize, we think that okay, they are very great devotees, but the realization can happen to any level of devotee. So in the simple terms, we try to understand what is realization. In general terms, if the realization is nothing, if you see the dictionary meaning of realization, it means realization is a gradual or sudden understanding of or comprehension of something. That is the realization. Yes, that's simple terms. Now, let's see in the neophyte stage, when just you started coming to the temple, so you met some devotee, and devotee asked you to come to the temple, and you coming to the temple, you based on your circumstances, you have decided that okay, you come to the temple once in a weekend. Every weekend you come to the temple. That you became, so you convinced that based on the information you received from some senior devotee or Siksha Guru, you think that within your based on your conditions, okay, once in a weekend I will come to the temple, I will do some service. That knowledge you got, and you try to implement, whether it is a rain, whether it is a cold, whether it is a very hot day, you always come, every Sunday you come and you do your service. What it reveals, that you believe that this is important to me, this is important my spiritual journey, this is important for my bhakti, this way, this my level, at my capacity, I can please Krishna. This is what you feel, you believing in your heart, and that is why you are coming every weekend, you are coming and doing this service. This is the realization you have at your latest stage. It may not be the top level realization, but it is a beginning. So, similarly, we are all chanting. When we started chanting, we started with 1 round, right? And when down the line, we reach it to 4 rounds, 8 rounds, and 16 rounds, and some people beyond 16. How is it happening? When people told to chant 1 round, you got some conviction, you got some belief, and you started chanting. And then you believe that this is important for you, this is very helpful to progress in your bhakti, this is the way you can please Krishna. Based on your understanding about Supreme Lord, you think that okay, 4 rounds is enough, I can please. By doing 8 rounds, I can. So, irrespective of whatever circumstances, you are doing every day 16 rounds, every day 8 rounds, every day 4 rounds, right? So, this is what your realization, that your realization is making you to chant 4 rounds a day. Your realization is making to chant 8 rounds a day. Your realization is making chant. So, at different level, you will have different, that is the realization. And similarly, I know some person, some devotee in this our congregation, he does Nirjala Ekadashi, Nirjala on every Ekadashi. Right? That is his way to please Krishna. Based on his understanding, that is how he is pleasing Krishna. He is doing the service. So, this is how we can, and some people try to regularly come Mangala Aarti. That is their way of realization that, okay, this is how I can please Krishna. This is how I can do service to Krishna. So the realization can happen to any person, any, right from neophyte to the top level. Everybody can have realization. This realization can be different from each person. It all depends on your sadhana, your devotion. So how this realization at the low level will make you to perform particular service seriously, and then you will go to next level. And then again you will get some realization. And then that realization will make you to do more serious service, and then it will get you to the next level. So like that, you will go again up and up in the ladder, then you will progress in your bhakti. So the realization you can see at every level, you will have a realization that drives you to go to the next level. So same things we can see in the case of Devahuti. So Devahuti is not an ordinary person. Because by seeing her words like, okay, I'm sick of with these material disturbances, please help me. But she is not an ordinary person. If you see, her father is a Swayambhuva Manu, and her husband Kardama Muni, he did the bhakti, so much bhakti, and Lord Vishnu came directly, appeared in front of him, and he gave benediction. And her son is the Supreme Lord himself. So when considering all these situations, we cannot see Devahuti as an ordinary person, but being humble, her humility, she is speaking like this. And she, with that, now she was a devotee, and when after listening the information provided by Kapila Muni, like what Kapila Muni did after listening her questions and our inabilities, then Kapila Muni explained Sankhya philosophy, which tells the difference between the matter and spirit, and how this material world is created, how the living entity, the soul, is trapped in this material world, how the people are entangled in this material world, and what is the way forward to get out of this material entanglement. Devotion is the important, the key thing. That's what Kapila Muni was mentioning in previous chapter. So in all this, in response to the Devahuti's question, Kapila Muni was giving all this information. And how we can, devotion is the ultimate thing, which the devotion is the shelter through which you can come out of this material entanglement. So after listening all these things, now she believed that yes, this is the ultimate, and then she realized all the knowledge, then she understood all the knowledge. From that she got the realization, saying then she is speaking today's work first. My Lord, you are the Lord Vishnu himself. You are under the name of Kapila, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are the Supreme Brahma. These are the words coming after this realization process. Like if you understand more this realization, understanding the Devahuti realization in a normal, with an analogy of material example. Suppose you are studying high school and you want to get some university studies and you have to get a good job. What you will do? You will inquire. When you are in year 10, year 11, you start inquiring, trying to get the knowledge. You speak to various people, various teachers or the senior people who completed external high school study. You try to get the knowledge. Through the knowledge, you will understand there are various branches. You have a business, you have medicine, you have engineering, you have law, various subjects are a university course. And then you think what is your capacity, what is your interest. Combining all this knowledge, before you start year 12, you will get all this knowledge, and then you fix your mind that okay, I would like to get the core admission in the law, let's say. And then you will see which university having a good course and how much score you have to get in HSC. All this, then what will happen? Now you completely got the knowledge and you got all the details. Now you fix your mind to achieve that goal. right? So you will put all your efforts, whatever is, you ignore all other, you will ignore all other distractions around you, disturbances around you. Your mind will be fixed on your goal that okay, I have to get this pass exam, get the good score, and you get the good admission in university. This is what you. Same way in the spiritual context, Devahuti was doing the same thing. She got all the knowledge from Kadama Muni and Kapila Muni. That okay, with the knowledge she understood that okay, he is the Vishnu, he is the Supreme Lord, he is the Brahman, and my connection with him is like she understood. I am the soul, he is the super soul, and the relation is always we have to do the service to Krishna and please him. That is the understanding, realization she got. So she ignored all her disturbances, like a student ignored all her disturbances and focusing on achieving his score, good score. Similarly, Devahuti, she came out of all the disturbances when she understood that her son is a Supreme Lord, and she started trying to please him by doing the service. This is how the realization Devahuti got. So now another thing, if you see the last few in the purport, Srila Prabhupada was mentioning the word pratyak is significant. In yogic practice, the 8 divisions are yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Pratyahara means to wind up the activities of the senses. The level of realization of the Supreme Lord evidenced by Devahuti is possible when one is able to withdraw the senses from material activities. This is what the level of realization of the Supreme Lord evidenced by the Devahuti is possible when one is able to withdraw the senses from material activities. Srila Prabhupada is saying this in this purport. The kind of realization Devahuti got is only possible when her senses were withdrawn from the material activities. So which means if you remember one of the previous question, in the beginning question she asked, she was fed up with the disturbance caused by the material senses. So now by seeing the level of realization she got, right, that is only possible when she withdraw the senses from material activity. Means when she, through the process of hearing from the Kapila Muni, she was able to control her senses. She was able to fix her mind on the Supreme Lord Kapila Muni. So Krishna. So this is another thing. The 3 questions which she asked, the 3 points, like fed up with the senses and the absolute truth. These 2 questions were she was able to overcome the disturbances caused by senses and understanding absolute truth. These 2 things she was able to understand, that we can see from this verse, from this translation and purport. Now another important thing we need to similar situation we can compare the same thing with Arjuna situation. Again, in the beginning also we touched briefly on Arjuna's situation in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, right? Arjuna, same thing happened, right? Before starting the war, he was saying that okay, I cannot fight. He gave so many reasons, right? My father, my brothers, and Guru, and all the soldiers will be killed, and their family will be having no support. And when the family has no elders, then they will go. There may be chance that the people are follow the religious path. So many Varna Sankara happened. So many reasons he was giving in the battle in the Kurukshetra. And then Arjuna was expressed this, and then he stopped saying everything and he surrendered to Krishna. Okay, Krishna, you show me the path. I am surrendering to you. You show me the path. Then what happened? Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and he explained everything in the Bhagavad Gita. And then after listening the Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, like if you see, the 12th and 13th verses, if you see, he said, Arjuna Uvacha, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Param, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Divam. And then subsequent, Ahutvam Rishya Sarve, Devasir Nardas Tata, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva, Bravishme. So this is the verse Arjuna speaking after in the 10th chapter, when he was after understanding the Shloki Bhagavad Gita verses, then he realized everything. He got the realization. He is speaking this verse. The translation, if you see, Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you are self are declaring it to me. So if you see that beginning lines, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the ultimate abode, and you are the purest, you are the absolute truth. The similar words, like how Devahuti spoke after listening the knowledge, after getting the knowledge from the Kapila Muni, see the similar line Arjuna was speaking in the same line. So declaring that you are the absolute, you are the everything here. So this is the process when the people devotees reach the highest perfection. They are, and not only that, in this verse Arjuna was saying that great such as Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa saying the same thing. So this establishes the process that whenever the person reaches the highest level of realization, he understands that okay, you are the Supreme Lord. Krishna is everything. Like Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. That's what in Bhagavad Gita said. Vasudeva Sarvam. So same understanding. These people, when the people are right highest level of realization, they understand that Krishna is everything. Krishna is the pure. Our ultimate aim is to go back to his abode. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Everything is Krishna. They feel, they were convinced with that, and their activities perform in that way. Same thing Arjuna was initially. He was not ready to fight. But after listening Krishna's instructions, Krishna is everything. Our job is to please Krishna. That's the message. Then he took the bow and arrow. He was fighting for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is what the realization. Same thing. Here Devahuti is also having the similar kind of pleasure. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see many references like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj. Everybody they got high realization. Even Dhruv Maharaj initially he was asking the kingdom bigger than his great grandfather. But after seeing the Vishnu, then he said that doesn't matter, that is not important. Your darshan is important. So this is the process of realization. This is the highest level where you understand that everything is Krishna. So generally the Prabhupada says science of self-realization. Right? In the science, what you will do? There is an experiment there. If you repeat as many times as, you will get the same result. Same thing, the bhakti process, in the process of self-realization, the topmost realization, when you reach that stage where you feel that everything is Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate. That is what we can see. He is the Supreme Brahman, He is absolute truth, He is Vishnu, everything is everything. Then that realization when you get, then you understand that your job is to do just to please Krishna by doing the service. This is what all the realization we can see from the Devahuti, Arjuna, and many other references from Srimad Bhagavatam. So for us, if you have to get into the realization state, so we know, as I mentioned earlier, everyone will have a different level of realization in the beginning. But if you want to the proper the progress in the path of bhakti, to get the realization, what is required, the first qualification is we have to approach a bona fide guru, take the shelter of guru, and with the guru's knowledge, you will progress in the right direction. We can see like both Devahuti and Arjuna. Devahuti is a mother of Kapila Muni, and Arjuna is also having the relation with Krishna. But they didn't use that relation to get the knowledge. Rather, what they did, they completely surrendered to them as a guru. They didn't bother whether he is my son or my relative. They didn't bother, but they considered him as a guru, and they surrendered and asked them to give me the knowledge. That is what we have to do to Guru. We have to surrender to Guru. And how we need to surrender? Tadvidi pranipadena praniprasnena sevaya upadekshayantite jnanam jnanina tattvadarshana. You need to submissively, you have to surrender, submissively inquire, do the service. Then Guru will reveal the knowledge. Then you will be able to progress in the path of bhakti, and you will get more and more realization. So this is what I wanted to convey from this verse. So any comments, any questions? Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Not willing to fight, not willing to do the service which Krishna is asking to do. Many times we also due to body concept that we are unable to surrender and do service wholeheartedly, so how to overcome.
See, Prabhu, I think like first thing, yes, many times we will get some disturbances in our life. So I remember Prabhupada was saying that whenever we have any disturbances, anything, what we need to do is, if you really understand that you are getting disturbed by these things, then the Prabhupada is always saying that you chant the holy name. loudly, and then you try. You know that when you know that you are getting disturbed by, then immediately take the chant. That is one of the easy step. Prabhupada was recommending the chant the holy name loudly. Go to some isolation space and do the chanting loudly. That is one way of seeing the how we can overcome. So having the when you do chanting, then you will realize that you are whatever now you have the knowledge. We get all have the knowledge, some knowledge. With that knowledge, we are trying to do our services. But in between, like Arjuna got disturbance. Right? Arjuna is not an ordinary person. Even Devahuti is not an ordinary person. They are the devotees. But still, they got disturbed. What they did? They were approached Guru and Guru clarified. Same way, the Prabhupada was saying, Guru may not be available all the time. So Prabhupada was saying, take the chanting bits and do the chanting. Then you, or if you have any senior Vaishnava or devotee is available to bring you back on the track, then approach him, express your inability, and then he may help you, guide you to come back to the devotion. So these are the various approaches I can think of, Prabhu.
As I understand from the Shloka, Prabhu, I believe there is no separate endeavor is required to get at the modes of material nature. For example, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the book, the 8 divisions of yogic practice, if one were to strictly follow the path of devotional service. Is that a correct statement?
Sorry, I didn't.
What I was saying was, we don't actually need to put a separate endeavor to, for example, follow the 8 divisions of yogic practice. Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the book, to get out of the material modes, the 3 material modes, just like a sincere path following devotional service, that would actually make us get out of the 3 modes.
Yes. Yes, Prabhu. See the path is path, yama, niyama, this is a very hard path. Like not everybody can follow. It is in the Kali Yuga particularly, it's very difficult to stage. Like in a so-called yoga, people are doing some just sitting postures and asanas. That is not the yoga, right? There are various stages. You need to follow yama, niyama, asana. You have to control the breathing. Then you have to withdraw the senses. Then you need to observe, meditate, fix your mind. All these things in our current Kali Yuga stage with so many disturbances around, it's not practical. But when you do devotion to Krishna, all these things inherently it will come. Like what? When you are doing a chanting, you are doing the thing. You are sitting at one particular place and you are thinking about Krishna. It's like when you do devotional service, indirectly these all things will be coming in your practice. You do not realize, but these are all the steps will be, most of the things will be covered. So, but finally the devotion is the ultimate thing. The Devi Esha Gunamayi Mamamaya Durataya Mameva Prapajyante Mayam Yetam Tarendite. Bhagavad Gita Krishna saying. So to overcome this material mode, you have to surrender to me, you perform devotional service. When you do that, you will be able to come out of this material modes. You don't need to directly follow these things. It is very difficult. The yoga practice, eightfold yoga system. But when you do the devotional service, that will help bring you to, that will make you to come out of this 3 modes of material nature. Yes, the devotion is the ultimate.
Just reflecting on yesterday's shloka and also the last shloka of the last chapter, where the chanting of the Lordship's is actually glorified. My question is chanting of the Lordship's alone is the way, or what about his associates? What about his incarnations? Is it okay? Is that the same? Like just going by the mood of Dasanitas, I think we have got quite a few scriptural references where the Lordship say that a devotee who actually claims to be my devotee is not a devotee, and a devotee's devotee is actually a devotee.
So, Prabhu, okay. So, first thing is chanting is important. That is the ultimate shelter for us. But when you do chanting, when you progress in your bhakti, then you got the realizations. You will that, okay, Krishna, when you read scriptures, when you listen from the senior devotees, you will understand that, okay, Krishna is important, but Krishna likes his devotees more. Then you will also, it's as part of your realization, you will understand. But the first step in your bhakti process is chanting. You do chanting all the time. That is the main anchor in your journey. But as part of your journey, You get so many realizations with the knowledge you receive from the various devotees, from the various scriptural references. That shows that, okay, Krishna likes devotees more than himself, right? Then you try. When you understand that, as part of your service, you do chant, but at the same time, when the senior devotee comes, you take the opportunity to serve him nicely and please him. So that way you are praising the Krishna. See, chanting is important more, but you see, Bhagavatam, we have the different services, like Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Seva, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. These are the various things where we can do the service. But in Kali Yuga, we cannot stick to only one thing. We don't have that ability to fix only on one thing and object. So that's why we will be doing the chanting, but we doing the various other services as well. So that's yes.
I had a question in relation to the relationship between Gurudev and his mother in this context. And so forgive me, I don't know the full context behind their relationship, so this might be a nonsense question, but so obviously the mother is having a realization that her son is Lord Vishnu, but in the highest realization, like with Mother Yashoda and Krishna, Mother Yashoda doesn't really even care that Krishna is the supreme. She's just busy serving him, loving him, making sure he's cool and whatnot. So what is the fate of their relationship now that Krishna has revealed himself and bestowed that supreme love?
See, this is the different to bhavas, you can say, the mood of the. See, the Yashoda is the thinking that Krishna, she is not forgetting that Krishna is a supreme Lord, but she is thinking that Krishna is her son and she is feeding. That is her Vatsalya Bhava, you can say. But whereas here, the context is differently, the environment is completely different. She knows that the Kardama Muni and the Devahuti, they know that Brahma has informed the Kardama Muni that the Lord Vishnu will be coming as your son, right? So she this information she got, and she was from the beginning she understand that he is the Supreme Lord, his son, but she got the knowledge at that time. But now after listening from Kapila Muni, then she realized that yes, you are the Supreme Lord. That is the flow. So from the beginning, Brahma told clearly Kardama that the Lord Vishnu will appear. Lord Vishnu only himself told to Kardama that I will be coming as your son and giving the deliverance. So that knowledge they got it. So the information knowledge was there, but the realization came to the Devahuti after these discussions. That is how we can see the connection. Yeah. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौरव भक्त वृंद की जय।